The best of Money Matters. Right Business.
Welcome to The Right Business, where we dive deep into the stories of trailblazers who dare to disrupt the status quo, find the gap in the market to find the right business. Hello, I'm Hongbin Jeong. Delivery often feels like a race against time. Customers want their orders fast, fresh, and flawless. But behind the scenes, logistics is one of the toughest, most complex parts of any business. And in Southeast Asia, where urban congestion, environmental concerns, and rising customer expectations collide, the challenge is even greater. That's where Blitz Electric Mobility comes in. Founded in 2019, Blitz is Southeast Asia's leading EV logistics enabler, revolutionizing last-mile delivery with an electric vehicle fleet powered by AI-driven technology. From instant deliveries within 30 minutes to seamless same-day solutions, Blitz Electric Mobility is helping businesses move faster, smarter, and greener. So to find out more about how Blitz Electric Mobility is transforming logistics through their use of EVs, joining us today is Saivya Chauhan, who is the founder and CEO of Blitz Electric Mobility. Hi, Saivya. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. Good afternoon.
All right, Saivya, you founded the company in 2019, coming from a background that includes engineering work with Hyperloop. What inspired the shift from working on high-speed transport to, building an EV logistics company here in Southeast Asia?
That's actually a very good question that I get asked quite a lot. I actually grew up in Southeast Asia before going to the U.S. to work and study. So it was always the plan to come back at some point. The only thing that was missing was a genuine problem to solve. So during my holidays, when I would come back to Southeast Asia, I slowly managed to piece together a genuine problem that was plaguing both logistics as well as the gig working industry over here. So in logistics, quickly noticed that it was rather inefficient and slow. In gig work, with the rise of Grab and the other ride-hailing companies, noticed that wasn't really run quite so well, with drivers often complaining and demonstrating on the roads for greater and better pay. And so over a period of years, these two ideas sort of collided, and that's where Blitz was born. So it wasn't a direct shift from Hyperloop to Southeast Asia, but it was always sort of there in the background. And in 2018, 2019, I kind of just took the leap of faith and came back and started building this.
Oh, wow. So what gap exactly did you see in the market that made you feel like, Blitz was necessary? And what gave you the conviction to choose EVs over more conventional options?
Very good question, right? So on the logistics front, in the U.S., we have Amazon Prime, and that basically spoiled me in regards to being able to order anything and everything and getting it in a couple of hours. The same thing in Southeast Asia, non-existent. If you order from an e-commerce company in Southeast Asia, at least a couple of years ago, the fastest was still a week, and that really didn't make any sense to me. How can you have an Amazon in the West that does everything on their own, and similarly well-equipped players here that can't achieve even, same day? So that was what got me started on the logistics side. On the EV side, because my background was always within that industry, I knew that it was often cheaper to maintain, cheaper to use electric vehicles in your day-to-day operations. And so it just made sense that, okay, we're going to enter a very low-margin industry like logistics, so let's do it with all the best tools. And EV was sort of one of the answers there on how we can get better margins.
So what was the hardest part of building an EV-first logistics company in a region like Southeast Asia?
Everything in logistics is very hard, and EVs are also quite risky here because it's very nascent. But that's sort of where the opportunity was and often is in any kind of new project. Nobody wants to build a infrastructure or fragmented fleet-heavy business. And what we saw was that brands, they would like to have control and flexibility over this. So despite there being challenges on lack of infrastructure presence, lack of financing options available for EVs, and even lack of government support, this is where the opportunity was. And those are the sort of bottlenecks that we then went about solving step by step to ensure that our business could thrive very well.
Well, since then, Blitz has grown into one of Southeast Asia's leading EV logistics enablers, delivering over 11 million packages and working with more than 50 enterprise clients. What were some, early turning points that helped Blitz gain momentum and build trust with major brands such as Domino's and Janju Jiwa, whom you've worked with?
Very good question, right? So a few things clicked early on. Firstly, when we won these bigger name contracts, we proved that we could do very high SLA-driven, high volume deliveries with a very lean model. And secondly, our technological partnerships and the fact that we had recognition from the likes of NVIDIA did also help us along the way. But to answer your question specifically on what helped in the beginning, it was just being open and being transparent. My very first customers I got by cold reaching out to them online and just connecting with their leadership and just opening up to them, hey, this is the problem statement that I've discovered. I'm looking to solve it if you're willing to come in with me. And by having that open transparency with all my clients from day one, it has helped me not only sign bigger names since then, but also grow these bigger names since then and, of course, grow us. So that's really what helped us get started, despite having no brand names, despite having no sort of name in the market when we were first getting started.
Well, it looks like Blitz isn't just doing deliveries. It's enabling everything from instant and same-day solutions to becoming a full-fledged in-house delivery partner for clients. Help us walk us through, what Blitz actually offers today and how your different delivery models, like instant last mile or same-day mid-mile, support your clients' needs.
Very good question, right? So effectively what it is that we're offering to these customers is a white label logistics service. What that means is everything is in your brand's name. When a customer orders from your website or your platform, it is entirely under your branding and control. And in that white label business model, the main thing that we work on is instant and same day, meaning we can deliver whatever product that you have, whether it's pharmacy goods, whether it's frozen beverages, whether it's groceries or what have you. We can deliver all of that within 30 minutes, all the way up to the same 12 hours, same day. And that's the core offerings. All of this is in that white label model. So it is entirely under your branding, your control, your logos, and the customer never really sees us. That's really what we're here to enable. Again, stemming from the Amazon Prime model, which Amazon controls entirely on its own.
Very interesting. Now, let's also talk about the driver side as well. I mean, it looks like your company uses a rent-to-own model for its fleet, sourcing electric motorbikes from companies like Charged and iMoto. Why did you decide to own the EV procurement and leasing process rather than just tapping into third-party drivers?
So one of the biggest things that I quickly realized early on is just tapping into a gig working fleet that is more or less freelancing isn't the best way to offer a highly reliable service. Now, without mentioning any names, I think folks around the town and around the region are very familiar with what I mean when I say, gig working companies are not very reliable when it comes to quality. Yeah, you'll have a dearth of drivers available at your fingertips, but the quality is often very, very scattered. And so in order to fix that, the thing that we had to do was having a dedicated driver model. That meant having some kind of a retention method that would help these drivers stick with us long term. And EV leases was one of the answers. The core crux of the problem was also income disparity, which we helped fix by just giving more volumes to dedicated drivers rather than giving a scattered volumes to a scattered number of freelancers. So by combining our higher delivery per driver business model with a leasing format for these vehicles, we're able to retain drivers for a lot longer. We're able to also train these drivers to perform better, which is super critical when the delivery times are so short and require precise execution.
Well, then what would you say is Blitz's biggest differentiator from competitors or traditional delivery players, and what makes clients choose you over others?
It's entirely in the way we interact and operate with our customers. Like I mentioned earlier, we're entirely white labeled, which is something that no delivery company today offers. Everything is subcontracted. When you order a package from a big e-commerce client, you can actually click on the delivery provider and the entire responsibility and at the end of the day, blame and service quality falls upon that customer. But being essentially treating ourselves as an in-house delivery partner for these companies, we have to represent these companies as if we're them. We have to uphold ourselves in the same level of standards. This has led us to develop the tech that we have, the way we structure our team. It's all catered for a very bespoke and in-house level model, which prior to us didn't exist in the market.
Right. Well, on the funding side, Blitz has raised a reported $4 million in pre-Series A funding, including backing from Iterative and Vin Capital. What milestones are you focused on now, and where are you looking to invest for Blitz's next phase of growth? Are you eyeing new markets or even expanding beyond logistics?
A very good question. So we've always been an infrastructure play. So logistics was always a starting foundation, but the core value of the business has been its ability to be an infrastructure ecosystem builder. What that means is we're using logistics as a starting point and then building the other qualities of the business on top of that. For example, EV financing. For example, electric vehicle charging infrastructure. So our use of funds reflects that growth trajectory. where we've now gone from just having logistics as our core product and into, okay, EV financing is also a product. We're also handling EV charging infrastructure. Well, maintenance also goes along with that. So we're now able to fully expand on these other previously dormant revenue streams and kind of cash in their value as well. And then, of course, as with any new company, the core goal of this company today is profitability. We're very pleased to report that we're actually very close to profitability, which not many companies can say just within 3 years of their operations. That's our secondary goal today. So number one, continue to expand on our revenue streams. And number two, really narrowing down on building a profitable and sustainable business within this year.
Amazing. And before we let you go here, what does the future of EV logistics in Southeast Asia look like to you? And what role do you want Blitz to play in shaping that?
Absolutely. I mean, Southeast Asia is definitely going full EV, not because it's trendy, but because it has to. I mean, fuel costs, pollution, urban congestion, all of it demands it. We want it to be the gold standard for that future. And that the layer that powers, smart, fast, clean movement of goods. That's where we're starting. And that's exactly why we don't just do deliveries. We're building this whole EV ecosystem. So for us, we foresee that this is the direction that the region and industry is heading into. And we want to continue to be the pioneer in that field.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Saivya, for joining me today.
Likewise. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. That was Saivya Chauhan, who is the founder and CEO of Blitz Electric Mobility. This has been The Right Business with me, Hongbin Jeong.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.